All right, good evening, brothers and sisters. How's everybody doing this evening? All right, before I begin, let me just say I found a tremendous inspiration this week in the strike by Italian workers in solidarity with the guys at Forte. I would really love to see something like that in the United States. Obviously, we have a long way to go to that, but this is, blue-collar workers that walked up the job, port workers, transport workers, industrial workers, teachers, in solidarity with the Palestinian people and the flotilla. So that gives us a vision of what the work, what's possible when workers come together. In terms of our struggle here in North Carolina, I'm struck by how everything is so different from this year compared to last year. Last year, our union in North Carolina was crusading for a new contract. We were on the move. This year, we've seen kind of an economic downturn set in. We've seen layoffs. We've seen political divisions really split our union up in ways. And, we're in a situation where we're wondering kind of what is to be done and how to fight for the future. But let me go back to 2024. United Auto Workers represents some 7,000 workers at 4 plants owned by Daimler Truck North America across the state. Yeah, we make heavy trucks and buses, and our contract went up last year. And unlike in previous years, we were completely united across all our plants, and we were prepared to strike. We had this monumental contract campaign underneath the new international leadership, UAW Sean Fain, and we were ready to hit the bricks. At my plant, TBB in High Point, we had about 500 workers outside the plant chanting, "If we don't get no contract, then you don't get no buses." Tammy, who works on engine line at the Cleveland, North Carolina heavy truck plant, DTNA, can tell y'all too that they had practice pickets that had hundreds of workers outside of their plant, and we were ready to go out. So the company saw that we were dead serious, and they capitulated at the last moment. We won record raises. We won cost of living adjustments in our contract. We won profit sharing for the first time ever. And we won an abolition of 2 tiers. So now we're all making the same wages across all our plants. But like I said, that seems there's a lot of water under the bridge between then and now. And we've seen this year kind of the economy start to hit a downturn. It's affected us particularly at our plants in North Carolina because we make heavy trucks, and there's been a kind of decline in freight volumes. Yeah, so there's less heavy trucks being sold because of the economic chaos. And there was a big layoff in June at the Mount Holly plant. They make heavy trucks. They went down from 2 shifts down to 1, and 500 workers got thrown out on the street there. So they're on, hopefully they'll be recalled to their job, but there's 500 workers laid off there. And this is the situation where the company announces the next week that they're doing a $2.34 billion stock buyback right after they've laid off 2,000 workers across North America, including in Mexico and the United States at multiple plants. So for some reason, we're told to accept that as the natural order of things. They give all this free money to the capitalists that do nothing to produce the beautiful vehicles that we make. But they get all the money and we get thrown out on the streets when there's any sort of turbulence in the economy. Yeah. But hopefully, those workers probably will be recalled, hopefully, when things start looking up. I mean, like I said, we've also seen political division in our ranks. Our international leadership campaigned really hard last year for Harris, but at the same time, there was, many workers in our plants, that were split off and probably voted for Trump on the basis of protectionist appeals. So it's kind of a contradictory situation. And then we've seen this week, Trump called for the implemented 25% tariffs on heavy trucks coming from Mexico. So it's a pretty contradictory situation. How we relate to this politically is confusing for workers.
Right.
Yeah. Our plants were whipsawed against Mexican workers And it's, you know, they want to keep the Mexican workers fighting against the U.S. workers and U.S. workers fighting against Mexican workers. And there's always this economic uncertainty for us because they make fucking $40 a day in Mexico at the Saltillo DT&A plant. And so, you know, they want U.S. workers to view, you know, Mexican workers that are just trying to support their families as enemies. They want to pit us against one another, when we know that those workers are just trying to make a living to support their families down there. And if you think about it, the border system is designed to maintain an unfair, disproportionate wage rate. It makes no sense that they should be making that much if they're making the same shit down there. Right. You know? They deserve to be making the same high wages that we're making at our plants to support their families and live with dignity. So, you know, what is to be done? What's to be done in this situation? My opinion is, I mean, the labor movement has the ability to lead the social struggle and the struggle for a better world. I think we need political independence. We need a political platform that we can lead our people and lead the broader movement. I'd like to see a movement to split with the Democrats for Christ's sake. That round of applause gets a lot more applause here than it does some of the later stuff I see. But really, until we speak with our own voices, until we articulate our own program, it's going to be hard to win some of the people that are being drawn to the right back to a program for the liberation of all people and a better life for all workers. One of the things that we've done is at this NC State AFL-CIO convention, we passed a resolution calling for labor to align our contracts for 2028 and for workers to begin getting organized for mass protest, mass action on May 1st, 2028. Sean Fain has raised the call for a general strike on that day. Besides that, you know, building the labor movement is going to be essential for any sort of movement for liberation. There's a lot of industry heading into this area because we have low wages, because we have right to work, because we have the lowest union density in the country. That's why it wasn't a coincidence that Toyota chose Liberty, North Carolina, to put its 5,000 worker plant. Right. Some of this other heavy industry, it's not a coincidence they want to come down here. They want people to work hard and get paid less for it. What we're trying to do in Southern Workers Assembly is help workers join unions, organize unions on the job. If you're interested in being involved in need support and helping get organized at your workplace, then you can come talk to us, or you can talk to my buddy Will Cox, who's an SWA with me, Triad Workers Assembly back here. There's a rank and file project, we call it, helping people get jobs at strategic plants and heavy industry in order to organize. And our next meeting for TWA is Sunday, October 12th at 4 p.m., Deep Roots Market. And we'll be talking about that. Feel free to join us and come talk to us afterwards. The labor movement is the hope of the world, and we can be a vanguard in the struggle for democracy, for liberation, and for a better world for all people.